If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Quiet. Play action pass. Rolls out. They do put in their throws. Did he make it? Not sure if he got his feet down. And the call is touchdown. Bass.
Yard gain. Back now, and Estrada sees another opening. Estrada drops it in the bucket for the touchdown. Artesia exploits that one. Looks like that was Ethan Kahn.
First and 10 at the 28. Gomez will roll to his right. That's wide open down the. Looking for Gonzalez in the right corner. Caught, touchdown. Another touchdown for Cesar Gonzalez.
Almost 200 yards in the first half here. This time they give it to Chito Lambrera, and he is shot out of a cannon up the middle of the field. Nobody's going to chase down Chito. He's flaming hot into the end zone. Touchdown, La Cueva.
Handoff once again. Nice. Breaks free. Watch out. Here we go. It's not even a foot race. Bye-bye. And it's going, chilling, doing it, and doing it well. Touchdown. St. Mike's untouched.
Now they're back to their too high.
2nd and 8. Dyer will pull it out. He has some room on the right side. Do not adjust your television screens. This is not a replay. Touchdown, Cam Dyer. Touchdown, Supplier.
Winston both sides of the field. Caden Cordova in motion from right to left. Culpepper taking a shot down the field. 1-on-1 coverage down the right side. Caught. Beck in the open, and I don't think anyone's going to catch him. Beck is going to score on a 90-yard touchdown pass from Paxton Culpepper. Culpepper saw Beck in 1-on-1 coverage down the right side.
Estrada with Galindo in the backfield to give him some support. He will leak out, and Roswell will intercept that ball. Zy Carrasco rushing down the field. Zy Carrasco, touchdown for Carrasco.
My goodness. I saw him track that ball from about the 15-yard line.
Big hole up the middle on the ground here. Oh my goodness, there's nothing but green grass for Sweet Feet. Cam Dyer, the touchdown supplier.
Estrada with Galindo in the backfield, trips left, one man to the right. He looks left initially. He's just going to launch this one up. He's looking for the bomb. He's got it. And still going. Did not make the tackle. It's Juan Diego Duran. Duran to the house. Artesia Bulldogs That's a 91-yard touchdown pass.
Game to Liberty. Liberty is now a New Year's Six Bowl participant after winning the Conference USA Championship. They're going to the Fiesta Bowl to play Oregon. They're going to get all they want now with Oregon. But we'll talk to Jerry because the Aggies are going to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. They will play Fresno State. Fresno State's interim head coach, Tim Skipper, will be with us at 9 o'clock this morning as the Bowls were announced yesterday and the playoff was announced yesterday and the New Year's Six. Aggie fan, how you feeling? Coming off of the loss on Friday. I'll tell you what, man. JJ, at halftime of that New Mexico State game, and it was 21-all, the drive they put together at the end of the half, right off of that kick, they had a short field, and I'm like, you know what? They can play with this team, and they can play with that team. The big play was the play in the end zone where it looked like, Eli Stowers and the defensive back both caught the ball simultaneously. They called it a touchback instead of a touchdown. Instead of being tied, Liberty went down and put the game away. They were up by 14. Diego Pavia gets hurt as well. I'm not going to lie, though. I've been watching that game. I think the Aggies were impressive. They got beat by a team that's going to the Fiesta Bowl.
Got beat by a New Year's Six team and an offense that is fantastic in Liberty. And the thing that's been so good about New Mexico State this season is the defense. And it couldn't quite make a play. And you got a special team out of a special season in Liberty. And that one is so hard because when is the last time you saw a tie go to the defense?
Never. No, I mean, it's been a long time. And to give up, what was it, 711 yards or whatever of total offense, it's not what they did now. Caden Salter is really good. Their quarterback is good. He ran for 165 yards, threw for 319. But a terrific season for New Mexico State. And they get a Fresno State team who's 8-4, lost their last three. And Jeff Tedford, their head coach, is out now with on a medical leave. But that's a team, JJ, that beat a Pac-12 team on the road, beat a Big Ten team on the road, beat the two teams who were in the conference championship of the Mountain West, Boise State and UNLV. And there's a ton of talent in Fresno State. I think we got a pretty good matchup. There is a ton of talent in
Fresno State. And you look at what they went through at the end of the season. Their head coach stepping away. It could be easy to assume that they're not going to be ready to go, but I don't think that's going to be the case at all.
Well, last time they were here 2 years ago, their head coach, by the way, Kalen DeBoer, who is now with Washington and in the CFP, was gone, and Lee Marks was their interim head coach, and they came out and were pretty impressive and won the game. So it's interesting. We really got to figure this out. Did I say anything yet? What day is today? Is today 12/3? Today's 12/4. This was yesterday. We got to get into this college football playoff situation. Hot Take Dougie came in, and he had a hot take. I certainly have mine. I'm interested. We haven't talked about this. Florida State, Alabama. Did the committee get it right by going with Alabama?
So when you have a committee,
they
can do these things. And I think two things are happening here.
Yep.
I think they got it right, and I think Florida State was hosed.
So more than one thing can be true.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they got it right, and I think Florida State was hosed. But I understand, like Doug said, I don't want to. We're getting better games, okay? And so I agree that maybe the better teams, maybe, and I'm not convinced. Everybody is trying to tell me that Florida State isn't a good team, that they're not as good as Alabama or Georgia, Oregon. And I watched a team continue to win with their second string and then their third string quarterback. And this whole third string quarterback argument, dude was in concussion protocol. He's going to be fine, the number 2 guy, to play in the college football playoff in a month. Right? That whole argument to me that they got to go with number 3 is not, it's not even valid. They got hosed. But JJ, I think it's probably better games. Hot Take Dougie came in here from Doug DeRocher from one of our sister stations, Magic, and he's doing traffic today. He said, I could give it to them. They had the stones to do the right thing. To me, the stones, if they had the stones, the tough thing would have been, to me, the right thing keep out the SEC. But because they're the SEC, I think is a big part of it. And I think TCU getting run out last year is sitting in everybody's minds, and nobody wanted to see that again.
Yeah, TCU, I think that one's hard to compare to Florida State because TCU had all their players. They just weren't as good.
Well, but I think people thought that going in, they're just not as good, but they earned their way in, kind of.
Now, you maybe blame it on some former coaches. Because the CFP selection committee said they leaned on their former coaches.
Chris Salt's on there.
Chris Salt, Jim Grobe, Joe Taylor. To answer the questions, and 2 questions were, who do you want to play? Who do you not want to play?
I think that's fair. I mean, and yes. I mean, Alabama's always scary. We're going to get into that. And because there's, I know you have your thoughts on that. We got a ton of NFL to get through. Texans win, the Arizona win, Detroit winning over New Orleans, a big win there. 505-246-0610. When we come back, Jerry Kill, New Mexico State's head football coach, is going to be with us. Talk about the game at Liberty and the selection to the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Aggie's second consecutive bowl appearance. First time that's happened since 1960. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
For the real story behind some of wrestling's biggest...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this,
you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Played for the Conference USA Championship, 21-21 at halftime. Big swing, Eli Stowers. Looked like he caught a ball in the end zone. Him and the DB wrestled for it. It went the other way. Instead of being tied, Liberty got the ball, marched down the field, and we're up by 14. 49-35 was the final. Liberty wins the Conference USA Championship. And yesterday's Bulls were announced. Liberty is the group of 5 representative in the New Year's Six. They're going to the Fiesta Bowl, and they will play Oregon. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. Bulls came out yesterday. New Mexico State accepted a bid to the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. For the first time, the Aggies will play in the 18-year-old bowl game hosted here in Albuquerque. They will play Fresno State out of the Mountain West. The head football coach at New Mexico State is Jerry Kill. It's Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. He joins us this morning on the opening drive on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. First off, congratulations on the bowl bid, a 10-4 season, and looking forward to, as wearing my other hat as a bowl director, looking forward to hosting you at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl.
We're very excited. We actually got a couple of coaches that have played in the bowl and actually coached in it, and we know a little bit about it through them, and it's in our state. And, if we can't get people this bowl game, then we're in trouble. I mean, it's playing Fresno State, a great, great opponent, and, playing in our state. And there's so many pluses to what's happening. And I know there's my girlfriend was at a Christmas show selling something, and everybody was talking about the bowl game. And so I think there's a lot of juice down here, and a lot of people excited about, it's an easy drive and for our people. And so I expect us to fill that place and have a great atmosphere to play, just like we had when we went to Liberty, even though we don't need to go there 3 times.
Yeah, that's probably right. All right, talk about that. There you are, 21 all. At halftime, you got to feel pretty good. I thought the drive right before the break, right before halftime, they score with, 30-something seconds, 20-something seconds to go. You come back and tie it. I thought that was really, really big. Then Diego gets hurt, and you end up with Blaze Berlowitz, a guy who hadn't played at all. And I'm sure you weren't going to Liberty thinking, all right, conference championship's going to be on a freshman that we haven't played much.
No, we didn't, but Diego had been, had hurt the week before, and he's actually had a bad shoulder all year, and he's played through it, and people would never know, but that's the kind of toughness he has. But he couldn't throw it, and so there's no way. When Diego comes over and says, I can't play, I'm going to let the team down, then you got an issue. So, there wasn't any hesitation, and I'll tell you what, our young freshman, I couldn't be more proud of. He kept us in the game. Eli catches that ball, they give it to us, it's tied up, and then we go back to who can score more. And but didn't work out that way, but I think people found out that our future's pretty good, and certainly also added with Eli and all the stuff he can do. We're built for the future if we can keep some people out of the portal, which is always a difficult thing.
Diego going to be able to play in the bowl game?
I'm cautiously optimistic. That's the best way I can put it. We'll just have to. If there's any game he's going to try to play in, I promise you it's going to be this one.
Imagine.
And he'll do everything he can to be ready. We got to be smart. You know, our team's tired. You know, not everybody's played 14 ball games, and with not much break. You know, we really don't have an off week, and we had 3 days or so. But you know, we got to get our kids freshened up again, and we got a good plan. You know, inserted for them. Plus, we're recruiting, and all this has helped. You know, so but we got a bunch of guys that are banged up. But I anticipate we've done a good job here of being able to get a good read on our kids, give them time off when they needed it, and have them ready to play. So I think we got a good plan, got it done yesterday, just finalized it here this morning. Me and Rachel been in there talking, so feel like we got a good plan, and looking forward to coming down and representing our state.
Jerry Kill, New Mexico State's head coach, is with us on the Sports Animal.
Well, Jerry, speaking of having good plans, your team has to be ready for every situation. And the Conference USA Championship game, it turned into a shootout. You just discussed, having to go to a backup quarterback, but your team being able to adapt to those moments. What does that tell you about what you've done, but what they've done, knowing that, all right, plan A might be this, but when you get into a game, you have to be ready for anything?
Well, I think you talk about it all the time, and that's why you got to give people reps and things of that nature. And it goes all the way back to the off season and next man up. And the guy that nobody talks about is Eric Klein. He's been with me for over 20 years. He's our strength coach, and we've got through a 14-game season, and we've had less injuries both seasons than we've had, knock on wood. And it caught up with us a little bit, and that's not an excuse, but it did. I mean, we took a bunch of kids that gave everything they could in that championship game. They knew what was riding on it, but the body breaks down sooner or later, and it broke down a little bit. But I just think the kids have been relentless all year, and found a way to fight back. And there's not a time that we didn't think we were going to win the game with Blaze in there either. We went to. It wasn't like we're handing the ball off. We were letting it fly, and he can throw it. And we just couldn't get a stop. We couldn't get a stop. They're that good, and everybody's going, boy, they're going to play Oregon. Let me tell you something. Oregon better be ready to play. Liberty is a very, very good football team.
New Mexico State football coach Jerry Kill with us here on the opening drive. And Jerry, you have yourself a very good football team that's going to face a Fresno State team that has some big-time victories. They're going to be chomping at the bit after kind of not ending the season they wanted to. As you start to get ready for the bowl, what kind of things are you looking at when it comes to Fresno State? And just, as you said, preparing your team, getting them the rest they need, but also being ready to take the field in 2 weeks.
Well, I don't know much about Fresno State, because we concentrate, focus on what we do here in the season. So, Coach Beck's been in there. I don't know how early he came in, and we start, breaking them down yesterday and watching film and, start preparing. But, I know they're a good football team. I know I know Jeff, and my prayers are with him, and stepped away for a while, and I've had to go down all that route, so my prayers are with the guy, and, and I hope he does better. But I know what his football teams are like. I know what kind of coach he's like. So I know what kind of team we're going to face, and they're going to play harder for Coach, which, teams are going to. And, so it should be a great game and a great one to come to.
It's a bowl game, and I know coaches look at them differently. Teams look at them differently, and maybe in the portal era, it's even a little different. This one for your fan base, and knowing what it means for the first time in 63 years to be going to back-to-back bowl games, to have the best season that this program has had in over 60 years, and to play in this game for the first time in your home state. Is it just another game, Jerry, or how? What's the focus on a bowl game like this?
They're all to me. We went into the Auburn game. Everybody's going, "Hey, you're gonna play your, back up this, and you're gonna do this," and they acted like we're gonna lose. There wasn't one of our kids went to Auburn thinking they were gonna lose. There wasn't one coach on the bus didn't think we had a chance to win. And every game is important to me. And I don't care if we're playing Alaska or where we're playing at, and in the bowl game or in the season, I expect to win. So your answer to your question, the bowl game is very, very important to us. We need to win back-to-back bowl games. It's important for recruiting. It's important for our state. I think our state, I hope they rally around us, whether, they're Aggie fans or Lobo fans. This is a state in New Mexico. And, and we're taking on Fresno State. So we need to make it our home crowd, just like basically Liberty did. It was all Liberty people. So this is our chance to have all our people supporting us in a full house and win our bowl game. And to me, that's icing on the cake. And we need that.
All right, lastly, I want to look big picture. I know you and Mike Norvell, the head coach at Florida State, are very good friends. And the college football playoff committee, had a decision to make yesterday, and they left out an undefeated Florida State conference champion, opted for Alabama. And there's a lot of controversy, and more than one thing can be true in this situation. I think that's it. But I'm curious your thoughts, understanding that that's one of your good buddies, but your thoughts how the college football playoff committee decided to go Alabama over Florida State yesterday.
Well, I'm not sitting on those committees, and, they got more criteria on those committees. And, that's why I liked 1AA. We're at 12, 16 teams in playoffs. They don't worry about all that stuff. But,
right.
When you have 4, it's hard. They got a hard job. It's a tough job. But at the end of the day, and you get into the injury part, okay, you know how that quarterback feels right now from Florida State.
Right.
I mean, that kid feels like he's let all these kids down by getting hurt. And, they were playing with their third-team quarterback, and they're going to get their second-team quarterback.
And they still.
Has anybody forgot about defense?
Yeah.
I mean, we play better defense, we win. And, we beat Liberty. Their defense is unbelievable. And they don't have to have the super-duper quarterback to go win and so forth. So I think you got to do the value work throughout the season. And it's just like Liberty. There's people thought SMU should go. Liberty went undefeated. I mean, and it's hard to win. It's hard to go undefeated. I don't care who you're playing. And so in my opinion, you punish a team that did everything you asked them to do.
That's right.
And win, but you had an injured quarterback, and that's why they didn't get in.
And yet they still kept winning.
If that kid wasn't injured, they'd have been in.
And they still kept winning. That shows me, as I was telling JJ, you talk about what's a good team. They're down their third-string guy, and they still won. It shows me they're a pretty damn good team, and they're getting number 2 back. All right, I look forward to seeing you. I know I'll see you. I don't know if I'll see you before in person next week when you're here, but looking forward to hosting you. Congratulations on what's been a great season so far, and I will see you soon. Always appreciate these conversations. Actually, this will probably be the last time we do these. Thank you for the time every Tuesday morning this year. JJ and I really appreciate it. I know it's not easy, and especially after games you don't win. But the response we got from our listeners has been tremendous, and I really appreciate all the time you spent with us.
Well, and the great thing is you got to get down there and tell we got a lot of Aggies down in Albuquerque, and we need them. And, hey, it's the state of Mexico. It's a good time for Lobos, Aggies, everybody to get together. We may be rivalries, but it's a game that represents our state. And, we need to let everybody know our state plays great football.
Appreciate you, Jerry. See you soon. Be well.
Yep, bye.
Jerry Kill, the head football coach at New Mexico State University. And on the CFP thing, that's my biggest issue. You're telling me, well, they're not as good a team because their quarterback's out, and I'm watching them go, the third-string quarterback can still continue to win. It's about team football. And that was the argument I made last week on development. I mean, we forget about defense. The other side of the argument is true. Do I think Alabama might be better? Yeah, but Alabama needed a Hail Mary to beat Auburn, who New Mexico State beat the tar out of, right?
That is correct.
So, all right, when we get back, how about Miami's offense yesterday? Tua Tagovailoa on the boys rolled it up on the Commandos. What statement did they make? Or was it just kind of, yes, but? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, President of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, Warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. You're like this.
You shouldn't be driving.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go out.
Red Zone coming up at 8 o'clock. Big day in the National Football League. Yes, what a weekend. Oh, have we mentioned the Lobos beat the Aggies 106-62 at the Pit the other night? How was your first Pit experience, DC? It's the opening drive. Jeff Sabieta, J.J. Buck, DC. That was your first Lobo game of the Pit, right? It was a sellout. It was a rivalry.
Yes, it was.
How'd you enjoy yourself?
There's a lot of energy in that crowd.
Yeah.
When they're hot, man, that place gets loud, a lot of energy. I was a little confused by a few things, but I mean, honestly, I've never been to a stadium that starts with row 1 and goes down to 40.
Yeah. You got okay. That one, you're like, I got row 1, sweet. Yeah. Oh no.
Well, no, actually, I think 28 or 27, something like that, and I thought I was way up there, and I realized, oh no, I'm actually like 12 rows up. That's not
pretty
so
good
bad.
seats.
Yeah. So we're mid-court, about 12 rows up.
Look at you.
It was. Lots of energy. I like that. I can see the passion from the fans.
Well, and when games come down to it, right, that place is worth JJ 4, 5, 6 points.
Yeah,
the energy. Yeah, the energy. I'm sorry to jump on you like that. The energy when it's a tight game and that crowd. I mean, it was a 40-point game, right? It was
yes.
The final was what 106-62 is a 44-point game. House had 26. By the way, how about House in the first half?
We don't need no water. Let that burn.
I mean, you had a good time?
I did.
Yeah, it's a special place, man.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah. College basketball rivalry games, they're just great. I love being around them. There was a ton of red there. I thought it'd be split, maybe not evenly, but I thought maybe
hometown house.
Yeah, it very clearly was. There was a ton of red there.
Yeah. They were good.
It looked great, and New Mexico State's not good right now. But I did not think that they'd look that bad in the game. What the Lobos did was impressive.
Yeah, I will say this for the Aggies, number 23, I can't remember his name. He looks like he could be a legit tight end in the league. That dude.
Well, that's what
big.
JJ said, right? Remember he came back from Cancun. He said they got the all bus team.
Yeah. That's the problem right now is they look like they look like a football team. They play like a football team and not a basketball team.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. All right, if you want to get in on that, we're here for you.
First half took an hour, 15 minutes.
Dude, I looked at my watch. I'm like, what are we doing? The fouls?
How many whistles? It felt like every single time it went one way or the other. There must have been 100 whistles.
29 fouls on New Mexico State, 24 in New Mexico.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, dude.
I knew there was a lot.
Fouls in the game.
Over 50 fouls that's
it was insane. But Lobos were good, and actually they were really good. Next up, so you got a women's game tonight. Next up, UC Santa Barbara will be in the pit on Wednesday, and then Santa Clara they will play next weekend on Saturday. So that's what's going on. Then the week off, and they'll go down and play at New Mexico State. All right. Hey, the Miami offense went nuts again yesterday. The Dolphins beat up on the Commandos. The final score was 45-15. Tua threw for 2. Devon Achane was back, running all over. But pardon me if I don't get super excited about the Dolphins, because this feels like the Dolphins to me. The Dolphins and the Cowboys feel like the same team in some respects. They beat the tar out of bad and mediocre teams, and for the Cowboys, I'm gonna hedge on calling Seattle a good team at 6-6. The teams that they're going to have to beat to get through the playoffs, they can't get through. Miami beats up on the Patriots, and when the Broncos were bad, they beat them 70-20. And the Giants and the Panthers, and right, but they can't beat the Bills or the Eagles or the Chiefs. So, what am I supposed to make out of Miami yesterday? While impressive and a great fantasy football team when they're playing these teams, am I supposed to buy into? They're going to win the division, but am I supposed to buy into them with their real contender?
The division could still be up in the air.
It could be. I think
Buffalo already has 1-0 against them.
Yeah.
But for me, it's whatever we say about Dallas, we can say the same thing about the Dolphins. It's you're going to be in the playoffs, and can you prove it there? You're going to be in a really good position because right now the Miami Dolphins are the number 1 seed in the AFC. And what they're doing offensively, it is crazy. Because to me, if we're talking MVP, I'm looking right there at Tyreek Hill. Because all you should be doing as the defense that's playing Miami is, can we stop this guy from scoring long touchdowns? And all he did yesterday was have 78 and 60-yard touchdown catches in the first half, 5 receptions, 157 yards. That's it. That's all he needed to do. And just 5 catches, but he goes for $157, finds the end zone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
31 yards a catch. That is nuts. All he needs is one step, and he can score. It is insane watching that dude.
When you put it in those terms, 31 yards a catch. 5 for 157. It's bonkers, right? And
it's unreal.
And it's kind of the Kelsey thing. How don't you know he's there? How is he always open, right? And what he does to get open, first, his speed is insane. And I think the way he adjusts on his routes is really big. You said MVP for him. I think this is the year that it's a non-quarterback MVP.
Between him and Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's my guy. And you know how I feel about the Niners, but to me, McCaffrey's the guy. And you look at what he did again yesterday. Like, he does it every single week. There's not a week that he is not putting up, just even when they lose, just bonkers numbers. And I almost look at it, I'm like, I'm not sure how you can't give Christian McCaffrey the MVP this year. Tyreek Hill is good. To me, there isn't a quarterback that is having a better, more impactful year than that running back is. Yesterday, Christian McCaffrey did it again. 93 yards and a touchdown on the ground. In receiving, he had 3 for 40 and just continues to do it. He's my MVP. And if you want to say Tyreek Hill, I got no problem with you. I mean, we'll just disagree. But don't you think this is year both those guys are more deserving than a quarterback?
I absolutely feel that way. And it's because the quarterbacks, I don't want to say Brock Purdy or Tua aren't having good years, because they are. But do we feel that they're MVP caliber? Are we still holding the fact that we think they might have a lower ceiling than some of these guys when it just comes to pure talent against them? That's possible, but I think just the season that Tyreek Hill is having, what Christian McCaffrey is doing, leans me towards that way. It's when we had the Jonathan Taylor Cooper Cup year where they got that close. They didn't win it. They still went to a quarterback. But I think right now, more than ever, even that year where Jonathan Taylor had 2,000 yards and Cooper Kupp was leading the league in receiving, like if Tyreek goes over 2,000 yards, leading the league in touchdowns, I do think it could actually be him and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
That are battling
who's your leading candidate at quarterback? To me, and you guys might argue with me a little bit, if you're going to tell me who the number one quarterback is, Tua's put up nice numbers, Dak's put up nice numbers, CJ Stroud. I mean, what's the award most valuable? Is it? I mean, are we basing it on stats? What are we basing it? Like, again, I'm gonna tell you, I think that the MVP should be McCaffrey. If you're gonna tell me Tyreek Hill, I'm down. You know, CJ Stroud's the leading passer in the league. He's a rookie, and he's taken a team that was a throwaway season. Like, this is just a learning curve season. Yeah, it's a throwaway. They're whatever, and they're 7-5, and they're in the playoffs right now. I mean, who else? You like Dak or you like Tua better? Who else? There's not another quarterback that we can make this argument for, is there? Jalen Hurts, maybe?
You have a good point with Stroud. He is mind-blowing for a rookie. I'd probably lean towards Dak at the moment, right this very second, but there's definitely a case to be made for Stroud. That guy's year one. He's going to be fun to watch for a long time.
Touchdowns, interceptions, 20-5. Dak's 26-6. So, I mean, we're in the same range. Stroud's completion percentage is 63.4. Dak is 70%, which is really, really good. Stroud's thrown for 3,500 plus yards. Dak's 3,230.
Who would be the quarterbacks you kind of have if we were having a conversation? All right, let's put all these guys in and start breaking them down.
Into the MVP conversation?
Yeah. So would you go Stroud?
I would go Stroud.
Leading the league in passing, he has to be talked about.
That's right. No, it would be Stroud and Dak and Tua and...
Okay, so you're going Tua.
I guess Jared Goff. But see, this is where I
don't think Goff
This is why I tell you I think the other guys are more deserving.
I would go Stroud, Prescott, Purdy.
I'm down with Purdy.
Hurts, and then probably I'll give Tua an opportunity.
How dare you leave Mahomes out?
I don't think he's...
I agree with you.
Playing like the best player in the league right now.
Totally agree with you. Can we continue this conversation on the other side? I know we got to take this break.
No, we
MVPs, and I know it's turned into a quarterback award, but why? I firmly believe, and I think you do too, it shouldn't be a quarterback award this year. And you can get in on that at 505-246-0610. Hey, you got the right to protect yourself. You can protect your surf too, brah. You got a right to protect yourself and your property, and that's why I called International Protective Service years ago. IPS protects my home, hundreds of homes and businesses all over Albuquerque. They give us peace of mind. They keep the bad guys away. I know you've seen them at retail outlets all over town. You go into a Walmart, you go whatever store you go into. I know you've seen IPS there. The criminals don't care about laws. IPS does, and they're committed to stop the criminals from targeting your home and your business around the area. They got highly trained armed officers who respond to alarms, usually in 7 minutes or less. Police are overwhelmed. They just can't react until it's too late. Call IPS, talk to them about their alarms. They install alarms. They install surveillance systems, which A, are a deterrent, and B, will give you video if in fact you are victimized. It will help in the investigation. 505-897-2420 is the number, 505-897-2420, or online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque a better and a safer place to live and work.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. You're like this.
You shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter.
They didn't make it.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities.
Tyreek. It's Tyreek, man. That dude is just, he's amazing. Amazing. He's just, wow. I'm actually following Miami because I want to see what that dude does. But let me ask you guys this question. When you think MVP, do you think MVP of the league, or is it the most valuable player on a team, the most impactful player, or is it just the guy that's having the best season?
So personally, and JJ, I'm curious what you say. For me, I look at it who's having the best season. And I know it's termed, the term is valuable, but I kind of look at it as a player of the year. How do you look at it?
I do as well. I look at it as player of the year.
Can losing record?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I would weigh it a little bit more if it was, in a vacuum. Can a player with a losing record win it? Sure, but it would depend on, who else and other circumstances. Why, who are you looking at?
All right.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I just a player on a team with a losing record. I look at it. I just don't look at the MVP as the guy having the best season.
Yeah.
I look at it as MVP is the guy who is the most valuable, and it's Tyreek, man. Okay, I'll put it to you like this now: is Miami still as good as they are without Tyreek Hill?
No, is San Francisco without McCaffrey? They're not as good. They're still good. They're still good.
They're still going to be good.
Yeah, and so is in Miami. And so is Miami. Not as good.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that's
that
good.
answers that.
It's good. Thanks, man. See you.
Have a great day.
And that's why, because it's called most valuable player, and I know that there are no guidelines on to how you are supposed to vote, right? It's left to the literal interpretation of the voter. And I think it's done that way purposefully to get a diverse thought process from the voter. How do you look at it? I mean, is it to you when you MVP, whatever the league is it player of the year, or is it the guy who's the most valuable to the team / league?
It's a great question. I'm glad Tony brought that up because I was thinking about that. When I think about value, I mean, you got to be talking about guys like Gardner Minshew coming in as backup and putting his team in playoff position. So
Gardner or Minshew could be MVP.
I mean, can you name someone more valuable on the Colts? I don't think so.
On the Colts? No.
Yeah, exactly. So
Zach Moss has been pretty valuable, though, filling in for Jonathan Taylor the way he has. But no, you're right. You're right, Gardner Minshew.
So I look at that, and then I kind of go full circle, and I say, but Tyreek Hill is the guy. He is the most valuable. He is. So I think it is a combination of value to your team and statistical value.
All right, so he's the most valuable in your mind. Is he the best? Is he having the best year? And like JJ said, if he gets to 2,000 yards, and it'd be something crazy. But is he having a better year than McCaffrey is?
So that's a great question, because I debate that for about 10 minutes now. It didn't get me very far. The thing about McCaffrey is he's dual threat, and you have to have eyes on him every play, no matter what. With Hill, he's not a running threat. They're going to use him a few times on trick plays and gadgets, but man, McCaffrey, you see sometimes he rolls out to the flat, he turns it to a 30-yard catch. He is something every defensive coordinator has to plan for. You have to keep eyes on him at all time. I think if Hill goes 2,000 yards, that's tough to argue against. But man,
what are McCaffrey's numbers? So
he's over 1,000 yards, right? So he's at 1,032 yards.
What is he receiving?
Has 429 yards receiving.
So he's
got 17 total touchdowns.
So total yardage, though, it's very similar between the two. Then
I mean, look, I don't know that there's a wrong answer. I just think one of those guys is the answer.
I think this year, especially because there's good quarterbacks, there's not one where I go, wow. And when it comes to the NFL, I lean towards, I'll look at the top teams in the league for MVP, as opposed to, if we're talking basketball, I think it could be someone that might be lower, like a Russell Westbrook year when you average triple-double or something like that.
Well, I'm curious as to why. I want to know when we get back. And why you look at him differently. And we're going in the red zone. Playoffs, who's in, who's out, what do you think? Clarity. We're going right down the wire here as the playoff races have heated up. DC's put together a terrific red zone, and we're going into it next. On the opening drive, we're going to answer some of the biggest questions that you have coming out of the NFL weekend on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night and tonight and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter.
They didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home?
And if they're not that proud of us.
Get ready for it.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
One team scored 45. One game had 6 total. Another game had 21 total. What a weekend in the National Football League. And then San Francisco went and made a statement in Philadelphia. What's up, boys and girls? Broncos get beat. A big one in Houston. Russell Wilson throws an interception at the end of the game. A lot going on in the National Football League this weekend. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. We're here for you at 505-246-0610. We're going to go into Red Zone here in a minute, but we're just discussing MVPs. And I feel, and I know you both do, that this is probably the year that the NFL MVP is not a quarterback. It's been a quarterback. It tends to be quarterback. You guys both like Tyreek Hill. I like Christian McCaffrey. I'm fine with either one of those. But you said something interesting, and we just had Tony, a caller, who phoned in and said, define, how do you decide who's the MVP? Is it the most valuable? Is it the guy who's the best player? Is the guy who's having the best year? And you said you have different criteria in the NBA than you might in the NFL. And I was curious in regards to somebody from a non-playoff team.
Well, now that of course, changed a little bit when 10 teams get into the postseason. But and it feels like in the NBA, one individual, if he's having an MVP season, of course, is going to make a bigger difference on an NBA roster as opposed to one player in the NFL. But I think it's, even in the NBA, the stats are more individualized. What you're doing, points, rebounds, now assist is dependent on if you're around dudes who can get shots or you're getting them good shots. And so I might not just say it has to be someone on a top 2 team. Usually it's the way it is, whether it's Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid. But it's why Russell Westbrook can win it one season when he has an individual standout performance when his team was hovering above 500. And for me, when in the NFL, it's a hard thing to do because it's the ultimate team game. It is. And because, yes, is Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback in the NFL? Just straight up, if you had to pick quarterbacks.
I think most people would say yes.
But then you say that doesn't mean he's the MVP.
No, and most people would say no. And I don't even think he thinks he's the MVP this year.
He's not playing great. That team around him doesn't look good offensively. But, that's the multiple factors that you're talking about. And I think the one thing with MVP, why people like the conversation, is because we all have a little bit different definition. There's not one true definition.
So I'm trying to think of an example that Russell Westbrook having a great season like that. It would be like what Tyreek Hill was doing this and playing for the Titans, right? Yeah. Would you vote for Tyreek Hill? Now,
CJ Stroud might even be close to that type of guy.
Well, if they're not a playoff team, but they're a playoff team because of the way he's playing. Yeah. So I don't know if you realize this. While CJ Stroud is the leading passer in the league, and Tyreek Hill is the leading receiver in regards to yards, and Christian McCaffrey is the leading rusher in the league. Do you know that the number 2 passer plays for a 4-9 team, and is in Sam Howell, the guy who's second in yards in the NFL, and the guy who's second in yards in rushing plays for the Tennessee Titans? That's Derrick Henry. Now, are they MVP candidates?
Well, also not Sam Howell's thrown pick 6 in 3 straight games, and 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions over that time. So,
yeah. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in on it. 888-922-0610. You can send emails, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. All right, you want to go in the red zone? Let's go into the red zone. and hit some of the big topics in the National Football League.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy?
I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna Tom Brady this thing.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
All right, last week on the Red Zone, I asked you guys if you would take the Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers or the field to win the Super Bowl. Both you guys took Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers. Made a lot of sense. But how are you feeling now after seeing the 49ers dominate while the Chiefs and Eagles looked pretty average last weekend? Are you still taking Kansas City, Philly, and San Fran, or have you moved on to the field?
I'm still taking those three because I believe in San Francisco and Philadelphia. I know Philadelphia just got blew out the built, but I'm not worried if it's the playoffs and Philadelphia is playing the Dallas Cowboys or the Detroit Lions or the Minnesota Vikings on their way to potentially another NFC Championship game appearance against the 49ers. So I'll take those three still over the field.
Yeah, I want to go the other way. I almost always take field in these. I do. But for me to take field, I've got to have someone I like. Like, I've got to have someone that I'm like, yeah, that's kind of, I think they can sneak in. And the answer would be the Cowboys, right? I mean, that would, or the Ravens, I guess. And I can see someone other than the Chiefs coming in through the AFC, but are you asking to lift the Lombardi? I mean, my inclination always is to go field. Your logic tells me those. I'll go field. Yeah, I'll go field.
As long as San Fran's in there,
I know.
and
That's the issue. Yeah. That's the issue.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
Right now in the NFC, there are 4, 6, and 6 teams with 2 wild card spots available. Which 2 teams make the playoffs? Packers, Vikings, Rams, or Seahawks? And do you see any of these teams winning a game or even multiple games in the playoffs?
I don't see them winning games in the playoffs. I think when you look at who they're going to play, right? I mean, we're talking about the last 2 spots because it's the Eagles, Lions, I mean, whoever comes out of the South, and the Niners. And so, and the Cowboys are the other one. So you're asking me for the last 2 spots, who is it? Vikings, Packers, Rams, Seahawks. Man, you know what? I'm going to go with the Rams right now because I think they're playing the best.
Sean McVay's got them looking real sharp.
Now, they get the Ravens next week, but after that, they go Commandos, Saints, Giants before finishing out with the Niners. Winning in Cleveland yesterday was a big deal for them. Seattle is not playing well, and they're in a stretch right now where they just lost to the Niners and Cowboys. They get the Niners and Eagles the next 2 weeks. I think they're in trouble. So I think the Rams get in, and I really liked the Vikings.
Is Kevin O'Connell doing too much coming off of the bad Monday Night Football game, of how non-committal he was to his quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah, Dobbs played a bad game.
Yes.
Everyone played bad offensively in that game on both sides of the football, the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. But for him going into the bye week, not saying that Dobbs is going to continue being their starter.
What's his option?
Nick Mullins coming back is going to get an option. Like, that just feels like they're in a bad spot. And for the Vikings,
they got the Lions twice. They got to go to Green Bay. Yeah. I'm gonna go Green Bay.
I like Green Bay and Los Angeles because they have advantageous schedules. I really like the way Jordan Love is playing. That's consistency offensively. And this is a defense that we thought would be pretty good in Green Bay, and they're showing that. And they showed it last night. Those are the teams I like in the NFC.
Third and goal.
Well, this is going to be kind of interesting considering the MVP conversation. We saw a few guys have huge games last weekend. So I'm going to ask you guys, who were your offensive and defensive players of the week from week 13?
My offensive player is Debo. I thought Debo was huge. I just, and not just because he scored 3 touchdowns, but the way he scored them. I mean, dude was Debo again. Get him the ball and get off me and let him go. I thought Debo Samuel was the difference in, maybe not in the game, but that game being close and that game being a rout. What he did for San Francisco yesterday, I thought he was just flat out phenomenal. Defensive side, Aaron Donald was good, but they played Joe Flacco, so it's kind of hard for me to.
Joe Flacco. Good job, good effort, my guy.
That's right.
Case of emergency.
He threw the ball.
Find yourself a Flacco.
Who you got?
I love the Deebo Samuel one. Thursday night, DK Metcalf, what he did against that Cowboys defense was phenomenal. 6 for 134. And this goes to, I'm going to throw a curveball at you real quick.
Yeah.
And fantasy football nugget.
Yeah.
Stop drafting running back. Go wide receiver heavy, because 6 of the top 10 fantasy scorers to this point, of course, you have Monday Night Football with Cincinnati and Jacksonville tonight, are wide receivers this weekend.
And I'm just going to tell
gigantic games. Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, another 1,000-yard receiving
Puka
season.
Nacua.
Puka, like wide receiver all day, every day.
Although Kyron Williams and Alvin Kamara were pretty good to me yesterday.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, after 13 weeks, we have some clarity about the AFC, but there's still many questions yet to be answered. I'm going to list a few teams, then I want you to tell me how much, if any, concern you have for that team and the biggest question you have about that particular squad. So let's start with the Buffalo Bills.
Finishing a game in the fourth quarter. Like it's one that of the other AFC teams, I think Houston has proven that they are good. But if you're telling me right now, who do I want? I want Buffalo over Indianapolis. I want Buffalo over Denver.
What do you mean you want? You want to play them?
The rest of the way? Like, if I'm taking one of these teams?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But they're not finishing some of these games in the fourth quarter.
Here's my concern. They're going to have to win a couple of games that maybe you think they're not supposed to. They got 5 left. They play at Kansas City. They get the Cowboys, and they get the Dolphins. And the Chargers and Patriots are in there. They better beat the Chargers and Patriots. But they got to win 1, maybe 2 of those games that you think maybe they shouldn't, because they let some slip away early. So my concern is where they are in the standings and what their schedule is. Do I think they're better than those teams you just said? Who'd you tell me?
Indianapolis.
I think they're better than Indianapolis and whoever else you just told me. But now they put themselves in a position. Yeah, I got real concern about them because they put themselves in a hole, and it's a tough dig out.
Very good. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Damn concerned. I mean, they just got embarrassed at home by Arizona, and their quarterback's hurt. Now you're going to tell me Mitchell Trubisky's going to bail them out? Like, I get it. They keep finding a way to Tomlin their way to a win. And they're in a position with 4 teams for 3 at 7-5. I mean, a good question for tomorrow. Not that I want to, tell you how to do these things, but the question you just asked about the NFC, the 4 for 3 or 4 for 2. I mean, it's a great question for the AFC. Who's getting those last 2 spots? Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Indianapolis, and Houston. Who's in there? And you can throw Denver, right? I'm really concerned about Pittsburgh.
The Steelers are lucky.
Yes, they are.
They're lucky because they get to play the Patriots on Thursday night. Then they get to go play Indianapolis. And then they play the Bengals. That's their next 3 games. And they could be sitting there 10 wins and have 0 shot at winning a playoff game.
I mean, one thing I will say about Patriots, they have only given up 26 points in the last 3 games. So,
how many have they scored?
Not 26. So there's that. But yeah, no, the Steelers are in a weird spot. So that's an interesting hole they're in. What about the Cleveland Browns?
Done.
Ooh, done.
What have they done defensively the last 2 weeks?
Giving up 36 and 29, yeah.
And 36. And this was supposed to be the Jets' recipe is just play ridiculous defense and find a way. They're not playing ridiculous defense anymore.
Yeah, I'm stunned with their defense. I'm not going to lie to you. 3-4 weeks ago, they were, I think we all thought, the best defense in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And the Rams, who were not world beaters now, went in there into their place and put 36 on them. The week before, Russell Wilson put 29 on him. 2 weeks before that, the Ravens put 33 on him. I don't know what the deal is, and maybe it's they're out there all the time. Maybe they have absolutely no faith in quarterback. It's hard to start 4 different starting quarterbacks in one season, by the way, and they've done that. It was Deshaun Watson, and it was PJ Walker, and it was DTR, and now it's been Joe Flacco. I don't know who the guy is next week. I don't know how they're getting the playoffs. They get the Jaguars next week. Jaguars, Bears, Texans, Jets, Bengals. Look, you think they should win some of these games, but you would think they should have won some of the games they've lost. Well, he already was in on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Very good. Great answer. We'll wrap this up after this. Let's end it off with the Indianapolis Colts.
I like what they're doing, dude. I honestly, of all these teams, I mean, I think Buffalo's better than them, but I look at their schedule. First of all, the Minshew Magic is legit. They're running the ball. They're coming up with plays on defense when they need to. I don't think they're a great team, and I don't think they're going to win a game in the playoffs, but I think they may get to the playoffs. They got the Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, Bengals, Steelers, Falcons, Raiders coming up. Tell me why they can't win those games. It's magic every week, and they just figure out a way to win. Shane Steichen's did a hell of a job there.
I think they're going to need a little bit more magic. Yesterday they didn't run the football. They had 55 yards of total rushing, but they found a way to win that game with throwing a pick six because they blocked 2 punts. Special teams, baby. Special teams matter. One of those block punts they returned for a touchdown. And for me, I'm looking at Indianapolis. I'm saying, and it's just so you're saying there's a chance.
There's a good
Absolutely,
chance.
because of what they've done. They've won 4 in a row. They beat the teams they've had to beat over that stretch. They get opportunities against a banged up Cincinnati team. I think the Steelers and Falcons games are going to tell a lot about Indianapolis because one thing those teams do is they play low-scoring games. They play good defense. And to end the year against the Texans, who would have thought we'd be sitting here, the final game of the season, and that could be like for the final playoff spot.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. All right, what do you got? I mean, of all those teams that you listed at the end, Buffalo, Indianapolis, right? Those teams. Oh, you still got them on the back. Houston, Kansas City. We'll hit those on the other side.
Yeah, no, well, we wrapped it up with the Colts.
All right.
It's all good. I don't know. The most concern, definitely the Steelers. Steelers and Browns probably, but the Steelers just can't do anything on offense. So as good as they are, I don't see it for them. I think the Browns also, I agree with you, JJ. They're done. They're toast.
All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. We come back. I got more NFL for you. The rain yesterday. Steeler fan, I mean, what the heck was that? Rams were big, and the pack attack. Are you buying into them? And has Jordan Love proved himself to be the guy? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter.
They didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico. especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports.
He's Big Bad Jackie and is here to say. He can ram it all night. He can ram it all day. Packers win yesterday. You watched that game last night? I think you probably did. It was the Sunday night game. And they beat the Chiefs. You were on this game, DC. This was one of your favorites. You really, really liked this going in. You said to me this morning, I wish I would have bet money on this. Why did you think the Packers were going to win this game with Jordan Love going against Patrick Mahomes and I mean everything like why?
I think the second half inefficiency for Kansas City is something that stands out a lot. Not being able to score, having issues in the red zone, things like that. I think we're also seeing that not having a true number one is starting to hold them back. But
number one receiver.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Number one receiver. But yeah, and then on the opposite side, when I see Green Bay, I see a team that's emerging, young quarterback coming to his own. I see a lot of good things for Green Bay. So that's kind of what led me in that direction.
All right, so I'm going to go into the question I asked before the break. Jordan Love was 25 of 36. 3 touchdowns, did not throw an interception. He threw the ball away. Now, a couple times it bounced around and might have got picked off. It felt early in the season like Jordan Love might be the guy. There was a lapse in the middle of the season where it looked like Jordan Love might not be the guy. They lost 4 in a row to the Lions, the Raiders, and the Broncos, and the Vikings. They've now won 4 of their last 5. Beat some teams now. They beat the Lions. They beat the Chiefs. Better wins than the Cowboys or the Dolphins have, right? Are you leaning back towards Jordan Love's the guy? Because I am.
Yeah, this is one where if I'm the Green Bay Packers, what Jordan Love has done and what you hope he continues to do in the season, showing a level of consistency, playmaking ability downfield. It's a bummer that Christian Watson, the wide receiver, got hurt again.
So was it hamstring? Is he out again?
The way he went down, and you expect him to be missing some time.
Finally was coming around.
Had 2 touchdowns last night. He's been productive the last couple weeks. Because I really like what they've done with a lot of young players on that offense. And it hasn't been Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon because they haven't been running the football well. Aaron Jones has been playing since he hurt his knee a couple weeks ago. And Jordan Love has been making a lot of plays. And I think what it does for the Packers is they have an affordable quarterback still under contract next season. And they're not a team that's going to do anything crazy anyway, but they're not going to be out there having the package, a bunch of picks, or chasing someone in free agency. This is perfect for them. They'll bring Jordan Love back. They'll do what they do in selecting a front 7 player, a defensive player in the first round. They continue to try to find some offensive pieces. Because I think they're set up to be a really good offense.
I think so, too. No, I think so. And they get Aaron Jones back, right? Howard, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Howard.
Good morning, guys. It's interesting you were talking about the Green Bay game because I was looking at highlights of that one. I had felt good about Green Bay as well, but I couldn't get my cojones out of my wife's purse in time to make a bet. So I liked that game, but I'm going to ask you about officiating. I want to see where you guys are on this. I mean, obviously, the Patrick Mahomes personal foul was not a personal foul. He was still in the field of play. And then, good God, what do you have to do to get a pass interference called with 43 seconds left? What's going on here, guys, and how can they remedy it?
Yeah, and one call went one way, and one went the other way. I don't know, man. I don't know that you remedy it because it's human beings making calls out there. The one on Mahomes, he was right at the line to gain, right at the sticks. He was still in bounds, and he got shouldered out of bounds. I just, because it's a quarterback and because it's Mahomes and you hit him hard, it's got to be a flag, I guess. I don't know. That one bothered me. And then, they missed a blatant pass interference on that last drive. But it's,
and I felt like, was it a makeup call? But you know what? It was a clean hit on Mahomes because the Green Bay player is trying to stop him from making a first down. Yeah. But the pass interference was blatant. The entity that the NFL is, the money they generate, there's got to be some sort of solution. I don't know. Do you get an extra official on the field, but then it gets to be too crowded, whatever?
It's another human out there that's made. We're going to have officiating issues. Like the pass interference. How do you do it? Well, are you able to challenge pass interference calls again? Like, remember after that whole Rams-Saints thing, and they did that for a year, and it was a disaster. I think the answer is you're going to miss calls, man.
Yeah, some of them are really bad, though. Thanks for your time today, guys.
Yeah. I mean, do you have an answer for that? Because he's not wrong, and those were 2 big calls in that game last night.
It was not roughing or late hit on Patrick Mahomes, and it was classic pass interference. The dude defending was going through the back of the defender, was there well before the pass got there. I didn't want to make the call.
Yeah. Dan, you're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So, I think the Ramit was unnecessary this morning. I totally think it's uncool. Come on, a Ramit, Jeff.
Whiny Seahawk fan.
So, beginning of the season, if you'd have told me that the Rams would probably be 10-7 at the end, which they potentially could be 10-7, I think my kids maybe 9-8 at the end. But the Ramit thing was just really unnecessary. Hey, and offensive holding, bro. Come on, offensive holding every play. How do they distinguish what's the worst holding? I don't know. I don't get it. What is pass interference? I think the beauty of our game is that there's human beings. It's unpredictable. If there were robots out there making the calls, it'd be kind of boring. I love the interaction of the refs and umpires in football and the referees in basketball. I just think that's a major part of the game, humans calling the game for humans. So there's going to be mistakes, but That's what makes our game the glorious game that it is. But yeah,
that's where you are, Dan.
Gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Rams got a good shot there for that wild card.
Yeah, they did. All right, man. We'll see you. Thanks.
Later, guys.
Later. All right, 505-246-0610. Overdue for this break, so need to hit this one. If you're there, please stay. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Rams, Seahawks. Who do you like in the last playoff spot? Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Vikings. I think two of them get in and two of them don't. The answer is on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. The information can be found on our website.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As the solution, because we just had a caller say, what do we do about the bad calls, the missed calls? The answer is you got humans out there. The text line says the solution is get rid of the refs on the field altogether and let cameras and computers and artificial intelligence make the calls. How do you feel about that? You like robotic strike zones?
I do.
You like robot refs?
Robot refs?
I don't know how you do it, dude. I mean, it's beyond me, but is that what you want to see?
No.
This guy wants to see. Another one says Brock Purdy MVP. End of the season, he'll have 40 touchdowns. He might. It's got to go to a quarterback? I mean, some people feel it does. 505-246-0610. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Jeffrey.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. I'm going to say this as a lifelong Steelers fan. I think Mike Tomlin has done absolutely less with more talent than any other coach in the NFL over the past 10 or 12 years. And a lot of people don't like to hear me say that, but I think this team has just been poorly coached for a couple of years. I mean, and that goes from clock management to waiting too long to fire Matt Canada. And now we see these pitiful offensive performances that we've seen this year. And one, I don't see them even sniffing the playoffs. And two, Kenny Pickett's not the answer for this team. That kid is just a highly average quarterback. And right now we're wasting some defensive talent trying to compensate for an underperforming offense. And I think you might see on the other side of things, I think you might see Seattle or Green Bay sneak in there. So that's my take this morning. I felt compelled to call. You guys have a wonderful
Appreciate you. You too. Seattle or Green Bay, he says. I like Green Bay and the Rams. But I think those last two spots, and he was talking about the AFC, then moved over to the NFC. But the NFC, right? You look at it, you figure, okay, your division winners are relatively clear in the NFC, right? Eagles, although next week's going to say a whole lot
between
about
Atlanta and New Orleans.
About Atlanta and New Orleans and Dallas and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only one game separating them there, right? But both of those, Dallas and Philly, are getting the playoffs. Atlanta and New Orleans, it's one of them's getting in. Detroit has a pretty firm grip on the North. And San Francisco's got a firm grip on the West. Okay, so that leaves 2 playoff positions available for what appears to be a bunch of 6-6 teams. It doesn't appear to be, they are. What appears to be those 4 teams. Minnesota, Green Bay, the Rams, and Seattle. 2 of them will get spots, 2 will not. Who's playing the best right now? Green Bay and the Rams. Seattle's schedule is daunting, and they're not playing well. Did the Rams sweep Seattle? I want to say they did. Did they win the second game against? They did. They won the opener against Seattle, and they won 3 weeks ago. So the Rams have the tiebreak over Seattle. They didn't play the Vikings or the Packers, so there'll be no head-to-head there. Who do you guys like? Which 2? You like the Rams and Green Bay, right?
Yeah, that's Rams and Green Bay.
Who do you like?
Right now, this very second, I would say Rams and Green Bay.
It's hard to back off of Minnesota, isn't it? But because, look, they were playing so well, they had the one dump in their pants 2 weeks ago, and then they had a bye, right? So your most recent is, well, gosh, Joshua Dobbs, turned into a pumpkin, and they've lost 2 in a row. They got the Raiders and the Bengals coming up, and they're coming off a bye. If they come out and beat the Raiders next week and beat the Bengals, go into their last stretch, you're going to feel better, but they go Lions, Packers, Lions.
Yeah, they'll be in a good spot. They can win the next 2 games, plus they're getting Justin Jefferson back. I want to get to the core of Jeffrey's call. It's not about the NFC wildcard race.
No, it's about Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. So here's the thing with the Steelers. I think Mike Tomlin has outcoached poor quarterback play, not wasted a talented roster. Big Ben at the end was terrible. And then Mason Rudolph and Trubisky and then Kenny Pickett, who, he's kind of another dude. He's an average NFL quarterback. And yet somehow, some way, that team's 7-5. So to me, I don't get to feel that it's poor coaching and he's wasting anything.
You just don't think they're very good.
I think he's outcoached some bad quarterbacks. Now, with the in-game management stuff, I understand that. Fans watching the game constantly and see poor use of timeouts or not handling things late in the game well. But because if you look at Pittsburgh, you like their wide receivers, all the defense, but they're being held back by the quarterback. So is that on Mike Tomlin? We're not getting it right for investing a first-round pick in Kenny Pickett? See that?
Is Kenny Pickett their quarterback next year?
Yes.
I'm not as convinced as you are.
What is it going to be, Gardner Minshew?
I don't know.
Sam Howell?
I mean, they're going to pick middle of the first round, right? Is there so the next round of quarterbacks coming out after Drake May and Caleb Williams is what? Bo Nix. It's right in that area. Michael Penix. Do you guys think Michael Penix is a good the Washington quarterback? Is he a good NFL quarterback coming out? Like after the top 2, right? Everybody's going to love on May and Williams. Which quarterback have you seen coming out of college that kind of gets you excited and said, well, you know what? It could be C.J. Stroud. It could be, I don't know. I mean, pick your guy.
C.J. Stroud is Caleb Williams.
He's a number 2. Yeah, he's a number 2 pick. Yeah.
For me, J.J. McCarthy is interesting, and it's totally because of the coach situation.
I think that's right. So where Harbaugh goes, and you think he's going to the NFL, does he work with Harbaugh?
Yes.
J.J. McCarthy is Michigan's quarterback.
Right. So his situation is very unique. I'm not sure how he plays as a pro quarterback, but situationally, I think knowing that you might get a coach-quarterback combo, that's a very interesting play. I don't think that goes to the Steelers, but I was thinking, though, that call on the Steelers, not to go back and change topic, but I think he's talking about some of the problems they had like 2017 when they had Le'Veon Bell and they had Antonio Brown, they had Roethlisberger. They're putting up huge numbers but couldn't win.
What about Jaden Daniels?
I don't. LSU. Yeah. I heard someone put up some really interesting case for him as the Heisman. Mm-hmm. That basically this season he's played as well as Lamar Jackson did when he won the Heisman. He's
probably going to win the Heisman.
You think so?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. He apparently his numbers are the same as Johnny Manziel, and he's put up some big numbers. It's kind of an interesting prospect that has definitely been under my radar. But honestly, when I look at quarterbacks, I'm probably going to pay more attention to Senior Bowl time and kind of see how they work out with pro type coaching staffs and things like that. But
what do you think of Nixon Penix?
Those are second, third round guys. Maybe they get pushed up. They said mid to late first round if someone is going. Because right now, if you look at the quarterback rankings outside of Caleb Williams and Drake May, it's the flavor of the month. And Shedeur Sanders has been ranked highly by everyone. I don't know if Deion's going to let him leave to go to the NFL draft because he said that he's not at Colorado. But then you have Jaden Daniels in there, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix. I think that's your kind of second, third, fourth round quarterbacks this upcoming draft.
Right. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming on the NFL. I like, who are the quarterbacks you'd like coming out? Steeler fans kind of tiring, I get the feeling, on Tomlin. I do. And you've had the same 3 coaches for over half a century. And they're gonna get to a point now where it's like, okay, what are we doing? When we come back, also, one of the best running backs, in fact, one of the leading rushers in the NFL, concussion protocol. You may not have known that coming out of the game. 9 o'clock this morning, Tim Skipper's going to be with us, the interim head coach at Fresno State. Bulldogs and New Mexico State coming to the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, and we're going to catch up with him and learn about the Bulldogs and what they're all about. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football. Hey, you're out looking for gifts. I got a great gift idea. I've given it, I've used it, and it always hits, and it is on-the-spot automotive detailing. What is it? Well, they come to you and detail your vehicle. That means they come to you at your office, at your home, wherever and whenever you're busy, and detail your vehicle inside and outside and under the hoods and around the rims and under the seats. Like, when they're done, your car looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. Remember how fun it was to drive? That's what this is. Everybody loves it. A great gift is something that people will love, but might not go out and buy for themselves. I got it for you. I recommend them not only because they offer great detailing, by the way. The ceramic coating and paint protection film work like magic. No more mud and dirt and water stains. They got a protective layering that helps prevent UV oxidation damage to your car's paint. You get an opportunity to get a lifetime warranty, so you can't go wrong. On the spot, Automotive Detailing also offers window tint services for your vehicle. It's all online. You can purchase, you can book, you can get all your info. It's at otsdetailing.com, otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Nahad here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter. They didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep.
Trying to remember what did I tease going right into the break? What the hell did I just tell you? 505-246-06.
Someone is in concussion protocol.
Oh, thank you. Golly, good. It's right here. It's right on my screen. Derrick Henry's in concussion protocol. Titans running back, second leading rusher in the league. He may not play. Now they get an extra day. It's next Monday. He got hurt in the fourth quarter, did not return. He had 102 yards and 2 touchdowns before leaving. Tyjae Spears is the backup there, but the 3-time Pro Bowler and 2020 Offensive Player of the Year, who's second in the league in rushing, is in concussion protocol. And I know it's a big week for you in your fantasy football, and it's going into the last week of the regular season, and you got to win and you got to make the playoffs, and just monitor it because that's a real thing. Hot Take Dougie just came in, and on the college football playoff thing, and he and I had a conversation before the show this morning. He said, I'm glad that the college football playoff committee had this, the guts to do the right thing and leave out Florida State and leave out an undefeated. And I'm like, you know what? I think that them having guts would have been to leave out the SEC. To me, there's more than one thing that's true here. Florida State got jobbed. They were undefeated. They beat 2 SEC teams. They were down to their third-string quarterback. They still won a championship. It's a team game. They'll have their second-string guy back for their bowl game, and they would have for the playoff. They deserve to be in over a one-loss Alabama who lost to Texas, understood, and needed a Hail Mary to beat Auburn, who New Mexico State ran out of their building. They went undefeated in a – now, the conversation, would they have given Michigan a better game? If that's what we're looking to do, then they got that right. I think the better game is Alabama-Michigan. Florida State might not be as good, but for crying out loud, why are we playing the games? And by the way, next year, people think this conversation is eliminated. We're going to argue over 11 and 12 next year.
Not the same way.
Maybe not the same way. No, not the same way. But we are
2 or 3 lost teams.
We're going to talk about it the way we talk about the NCAA tournament. The last team's in because Liberty would be in, and we'd be having a conversation about Ole Miss and Oklahoma, who should be in the playoff.
Who gets up there? But that's at that point in time, 2 or 3 lost teams. I'm not worried about that. It's because you're going to get your conference champs in. I think conference championships should matter.
Yeah,
it should be something that matters. And when the expanded playoff field, you're going to get your champs in.
The way they designed this, one conference champion was always going to get left out at least. And when the SEC got 2 teams in and left out 2 conference champions, well, it's the SEC. We're great. You know what? It's not their birthright. As much as everybody thinks it is their birthright to have the SEC in, and I think Florida State was more, and I'll use the word deserving, and you're going to say, yeah, but they're not better, and we're both right.
Yeah, it is, because they give themselves that room for creativity. When it's a committee making decisions, things like this can happen. And everyone keeps pointing at TCU. They were in the championship game
and lost.
Like they won their semifinal game. Yeah, they got blued out the belt by Georgia
the conference
in the championship game. But they got to the national championship. They won their semifinal game.
Yeah.
Florida State versus Michigan. Florida State with the backup quarterback could still win that game.
Their defense is that good. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why everybody said it would be a blowout. No, it wouldn't be 65-7 like I watched with TCU. Their defense is that good. And their second-string quarterback, who was not playing last week, would be back from concussion protocol in a month.
It would be the Big Ten title game 2.0.
Okay.
But I think Florida State would muster
score
up a
more
little
than
bit
0
more than Iowa, even with a backup quarterback. How about that? It went the under. 26-9.
Do you know what the over-under on Iowa was in the first half? Do you know what if you bet the over-under on points scored on Iowa in the first half? By the way, it was the same number in the second half. Do you know what it was?
I'm guessing 6.
0.5. Basically, you were betting, will Iowa score a point? The over-under, if you bet Iowa in the first half and then again took them in the second half, was 0.5. Will they score a point?
And the under one on both
And the
halves.
under one both ways on Iowa.
Oh, my goodness.
It was unbelievable. But that's my point with Florida State. And Jerry Kill, New Mexico State's head coach, and if you missed that, it's available wherever you get your podcasts, and it's on our website, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive. He talked about this morning, does nobody care about defense? Defense just doesn't matter. It's all about scoring 49 points. And his point is right. Florida State's defense is legit. We keep talking about the best team. Everybody keeps saying, well, they're the best team, and Alabama's a better team. I don't know, man. Florida State's defense is pretty freaking good. Isn't that part of the game? Is defense not part of it?
It's 1/3 of it.
And they were down to their third quarterback, and they still won. Does that not make them a really good team? I think they got hosed, man. Now, if you're going to ask me, is Alabama, do I think they're better? Yeah, I probably do. And so they're both true. But for crying out loud, they were 13-0, and they beat 2 SEC teams, and they're ACC undefeated champs. Winning the games. Michael Alford, their AD, and their head coach, they're not wrong, man. I mean, what more do you want them to do? Why are we playing games? Now, they're expanding next year, and next year this isn't an issue, although we'd be arguing about who gets the bye. We would be arguing about that, right? Why do they have to play and Alabama doesn't? All right, 505-246-0610. Coming up next, Tim Skipper's going to be with us. He's the interim coach of Fresno State. Bulldogs coming to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl to play New Mexico State in less than 2 weeks. What about the Dogs? Who is Tim Skipper? And how are they going to beat the Aggies? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with the green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Isleta New Mexico Bowl 18th annual will be on Saturday, December 16th out of University Stadium. Fresno State representing the Mountain West Conference and New Mexico State, the runners-up in Conference USA. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. And we're bringing back Fresno State. 4th time the Bulldogs have played in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. We got word last week that their head coach, Jeff Tedford, has stepped away from the team to take care of some medical stuff. And so Tim Skipper, their assistant head coach and linebackers coach, will be the interim head coach when the Bulldogs get to town, a guy that's familiar with the land of enchantment. After playing at Fresno State, Tim Skipper cut his coaching teeth in the land of enchantment. 2 years as a assistant coach at Western New Mexico. He'll be the leader of the Bulldogs when they roll into town next week. Tim Skipper joins us on the opening drive on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Tim. How you living?
Oh, doing great, man. It's wonderful to be on the show. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time. First off, excited to have the Bulldogs back. I play a dual role here, obviously, right? Co-host on this show and executive director of the bowl game, and talked to your athletic director, Terry Toomey, quite a bit last week. It sounds like there's a little bit of excitement about the Bulldogs coming back to town.
Oh, definitely. We're very excited. I mean, and me personally, I've been in the bowl game. I've been here when I coached at Fresno State. I coached Colorado State. So I've been into the bowl game, and I like the way you guys run it. It's a great bowl, a great quality opponent, and just excited to go get it.
I appreciate you saying that. All right, talk about where your team is. I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. You start out 8-1, and you were ranked and lost the last 3. Coach Tedford steps away from the team. So where is your group above the shoulders headed into the postseason?
Definitely. And, I like to start out with, I just want to say, man, our thoughts and prayers are with Coach Tedford. He's taking care of some things, and the moral of that story is when you feel different, you got to make sure you get checked out, and he did that, and there was some stuff he needs to get taken care of, so thoughts and prayers for him to get well soon. And then as far as our team goes, kind of a roller coaster. Like you said, we started out pretty hot. Things were going well, and then we kind of hit a little roadblock, had a couple temporary setbacks here, but I think our team now has realized how priceless playing football is. Like, you gotta take advantage of every opportunity that you have, and sometimes you need to have some faults in order to learn that. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We've had team meetings this week, and everybody's excited. And I think to start the second season and get this bowl game on, I think everybody's excited and ready to go for it.
Tim Skipper is the interim head coach for Fresno State Bulldogs and Aggies in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl on the 16th out of University Stadium.
Tim, of course, you played at Fresno State back in the WAC days. You mentioned you coached at Colorado State, you coached at UNLV. I'm just interested in, as you've watched this league grow, you've been at different programs, of where Mountain West football is at today, just the talent level of the overall conference and what you've seen really over the last 23 years.
Definitely. It's super, super, super competitive. I mean, you can't – every game you play, you better bring your A game. And the play of the quarterbacks in the run game is phenomenal. I mean, the explosiveness of the offenses is just crazy. So that's where I see the biggest jump and the biggest difference. And then you got defenses that are getting sacks and takeaways and playing very aggressive. So this conference, top down, has gotten a lot better and a lot more competitive.
Jeff mentioned it. Right when you got done playing football, you found yourself in Western New Mexico. Silver City, New Mexico is probably eye-opening for a lot of people. But what was your goal at that point in time? Was it just, hey, I just want to start coaching and see where it takes me?
So I come from a coaching family. My dad coached the NFL for 30-plus years, and my brother's running back coach for the Buffalo Bills. So for me, a lot of people's dreams of playing, I always had dreams of coaching. I knew that was what I was going to do. So when I graduated from college, I was going to be a GA here at Fresno State. And in July, towards the middle of July, I get a call from the head coach, Charlie Wade at Western New Mexico. He calls me. I had no idea where Silver City was. No clue at all. And I'm just fresh graduated. He offered me a full-time DB job. And I was like, you know what? If I want to coach, I might as well start full-time right now, have my own room, and get to work on it. So he offered me the job, and he told me I had 2 days to get there. So I packed up my little truck, and I took off to the land of enchantment up in Silver City in the mountains, and the rest is history. Had a great time for 2 years there.
How was the experience? You say you enjoyed it. I'm going to guess you learned a lot about the game itself, and with the resources you had or maybe didn't have down there, probably made you appreciate a lot.
It made me appreciate the game a lot more. It also made me realize, because, when you're young, you think everybody has the same stuff. I didn't really understand the differences between Division II and all that stuff. And it made you realize the fact that we get on planes and get food and all that stuff. It doesn't just, it's not for everybody. It costs. So we were taking buses. I had to drive the team bus. It wasn't like bus drivers. The coaches were the drivers of the buses, CDL license, the whole bit. So it made me appreciate it all.
I don't see that on your resume, Tim. Where's that on your resume? Bus driver. I see DB coach and coordinator. I don't see bus driver. He's Tim Skipper, the interim head coach now. Went from bus driver to head coach in a bowl game, Fresno State's interim head coach. It's interesting being an interim coach in a game, and this is not like it's never happened before. It's not uncommon. In fact, when Fresno State was here 2 years ago, Kalen DeBoer had left to take the job at Washington, where he's now in the college football playoff. Lee Marks, who's with him there, was the interim head coach. I believe you were with my good buddy Jim McElwain and Rob Akey at the time in Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan when that happened. But being an interim head coach during a bowl game, it's obviously different because it's yours, but it's not yours. How do you approach this? Especially, this is a different situation because they were in a transition then. Coach Tedford had already been named the head coach. He was actually here up in the suites watching the game. This one, he's just stepped away. This isn't a full transition.
Definitely. And how I approach this thing is I bleed Bulldog red. I mean, I really do. And I'm through and through a Bulldog. So to me, I'm just stepping in. The duty's called for me to be in this situation right here, and I'm going to do everything I can to get the Bulldogs to be successful. I just kind of see it as this is what I have to do as an alumni and to represent the Red Wave and our administration. I just see it as an opportunity to get out there and lead some good men in that locker room that want to get a bad taste out their mouth.
A few more minutes. Tim Skipper, the interim head coach of Fresno State, is with us on The Sports Animal.
Well, Tim, I got to believe it's not going to be hard to get these guys motivated when you tell them there's a 10-win team on the other side that just played for a conference championship, and you get to go in the backyard and play them.
Definitely. I mean, it's kind of, in a sense, like a road game. We're going to go over there. We're going to a place where they're just going to get on buses and get there pretty quickly. So we are excited for it. You watch their film. I mean, we got to bring our A game. They are very explosive on offense. They're hungry on defense, cause a lot of turnovers and get sacks and things like that. Their offense explosive. Their running game is crazy. They have a lot of long, explosive runs. They can throw it. They spread the ball around to the receivers. Excellent quarterback. And you got a veteran, well-coached team from Jerry Kill. So it's going to be one of those games where we have to be on point every single play and be 1-0.
When you look at a game like this, and I asked you this off the very top, about above the shoulders, the mental aspect of it. And you've talked about getting a bad taste out of their mouth and appreciating football. In your team now, coming off the loss to New Mexico at home, the San Diego State game, what happened towards the end of the season? Help people understand, because you were in the national polls. We were having conversations with national people about Fresno State's in line for the New Year's Six possibility for a group of 5 team, and then the skid down the end. What happened to Fresno State down the end?
Definitely, as both sides of the ball, it's just kind of like we were ran down and we didn't have the energy that we had in the beginning of the season and the games before that. And it's no excuse or anything. I think we kind of have a younger team with a mix of older guys, and we kind of got hit in the mouth when we played San Jose, and that hit took effect the next 2 weeks after that when we played New Mexico and then we played San Diego State. I mean, it is what it is. We gotta strap up these helmets, and we got to get back to work, and we got to get back to playing Bulldog football. I mean, people just came straight at us on their offense. They ran the ball on us, and then they pressured us on defense, and it was a winning formula for the last 3 weeks. So it's our job to fix it. Talking about it won't do it. We got to get to work on the practice field, and we got to take care of business when it's game day.
All right, well, game day is going to be on the 16th. It's inside of 2 weeks. Looking forward to having the Bulldogs in town next week. I know I got your ops team coming into town tomorrow, and they're pretty familiar with what goes on, and looking forward to having the Bulldogs. I think we got a pretty good matchup. I look at a 10-win team on that side. I look at a team that's been in the national polls. You guys beat both teams that were in the conference championship game for the Mountain West. You went on the road and beat a team in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. A lot of talent on Fresno State. I think this is a terrific matchup.
Oh, it's great. It's going to be exciting. The winners in this one's going to be the fans. People that come to this game are going to see some good football, two good winning teams, and it's going to be an exciting game. I can't wait.
Looking forward to seeing you in person next week, Tim. Reach out to me if there's anything I can do for you. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with us this morning. We'll see you next week.
Definitely. Thanks for putting me on the show. Appreciate it.
Be well. He's Tim Skipper, the interim head coach for Fresno State. I enjoyed that way more than I thought I might. That was really, really good.
I love the CDL bit. I mean, how great is that? He's actually out there driving his team
at Western New Mexico. So that's where he started his coaching career, was in New Mexico. He's coming back, and his first head coaching game will be in New Mexico in a bowl game against New Mexico State. It's kind of a cool story.
It's a really cool story.
Yeah. All right, you can respond to any of that. Got to let you know how we did in 3-for-all. Let me just tell you, betting is really challenging for some of us, although one of us had a hell of a week. How'd you do? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
The Jim.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. The information can be found on our website.
Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Tim Skipper was just with us. He is the interim head coach for Fresno State. If you want to hear that, Jerry Kill was also with us today. It'll be available wherever you get your podcasts. It's on our website, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and they're all right there. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. All right, we do something on Fridays we call Three for All. And the intent is to, JJ, DC, and I, we each just pick 3 games. And random, it's not here, you got to have this. No, whatever we're most comfortable with. Games we like. And see how we do to show you how hard betting is. And it's not easy. So JJ went into the week 14-15. You took the Steelers minus 5.5 against Arizona, you lost.
Yep.
You took the under in the Rams-Cleveland game, you lost.
Big time.
And you took Tulane in the American Championship game minus 3 against SMU, and you lost.
Epic failure.
You went 0 for 3. You're 14-18. I took Indianapolis minus 1 over the Titans. They won in overtime by 3. I win. I took Miami and Washington under. Miami almost covered it by themselves, so I lose. And I took Detroit, New Orleans over 46.5. It was at 61. I went 2-1. I'm up to 17-12.
That's very impressive, Jeff. 17-12. I mean, you could go pro on this.
Should I get my own 1-800 line? Oh, Wayne Allen Root, I'll give you the winners. Just call me right now. Call me right now. I got the winner of the Jacksonville, whoever the hell they're playing, game Cincinnati. Tonight it's free. Just call. Just call right now. I'll give you the winner. It's our hot game of the year. It's our number 1 blowout guaranteed game. I'll give it to you. Just call us right now. 1-800-BET-ME.
And if I'm wrong, you get the next 5 for free.
That's right. Is that how it works?
Did you ever call one of those?
I have, actually. I had to find out what it was. And it's just some guy with a New York accent picking up the phone. It was very, I didn't know what to expect.
It's Big Dom from Philly, the security guy.
That's who, he said Dom, I just, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, DC had a week, dude. Lions minus 4 over New Orleans, winner. Green Bay plus 6 over KC, winner straight up. Nuggets, Suns over 225.5 and went to 230. 3-0, you improved to 14-19-1. You're on your way back.
On my way. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. After I was 0-3 last week, so I'm evened up.
All right, let's go to the phones. 505-246-0610. Grady, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Wow. Fantastic bettors of the OD and the AM. What's happening?
Losing money.
Gee.
Yeah.
Hey, well, first off, congratulations, Jeff, on a fantastic matchup for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. I think it's going to be a great game. And you know, I'm super excited and quite frankly proud that something like that's come to the state. So I appreciate you and thank you. It's great work, man. Great work.
Thank you, Greg.
Some more flowers for you. I couldn't agree more on the FSU got hosed take. And for everything that you had laid out, I agree. And it drives me crazy how the talking heads will get on there and they'll say, well, it's the best 4 teams. That's all they guarantee. They bend over backwards to try to justify, in my opinion, yet another year of kowtowing to the SEC. And that rule that they inserted, well, if a player gets hurt and or a coach leaves, we can make that a factor. Okay, well, that was one of many factors, but apparently that was the factor in keeping out a major conference undefeated champion for Alabama. And it's like, you talk about, again, they had no guts, they had no stones. That was the weak way out. And I'm sorry, man, and you guys have said this several times, more than one thing can be true. So could Alabama win the whole thing? Well,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's not the point. The point is they don't deserve the opportunity in the first place. And look, injuries happen. Can you what if FSU gets in there and Michigan's quarterback gets hurt? Are we just going to stop the whole thing? Well, wait a minute. We got another injury. We can't play this. It's got to be a do-over. I mean, give me a break. And I'll tell you what, anything can happen on the field. You had a coach on this morning who proved that beyond a shadow of a doubt. You go on the road and, wait, what was that? What conference was that team in? I can't remember. And you beat the brakes off of them in their house as 23-point road dogs. That just tells me that anything can happen on the field. And when you deny a team who's done everything on the field that they were supposed to do, and they still get jobbed by a committee, again, who's so afraid of the SEC, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a sham. And it's for sure not a true national championship. But again, could Alabama win it?
They could.
Win it? Absolutely. Any team, if you earn the right to get to that spot, anything can happen. So, yeah, I'm super disappointed in the way this thing ended. But I'm happy that it's the last one, and at least you'll get conference champions. And JJ mentioned it earlier. Winning your conference championship should matter, and because it really hasn't in the past unless you were the SEC. And let's see what happens.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate you, and I agree with a lot of that stuff. Ridiculous, a ridiculous joke, sham. There are a lot of words for it. Next year we'd be having the argument. Well, why should Florida State not get a bye? They'd have been 5, right? So they'd have play Liberty next week, or not in the first round on a campus site, and why should they have to play? And that'll be the argument next year. But at least they're
better argument to have for Florida State because you're playing for something.
At least you're in. And Alabama may win it. But I agree with all he said. I just, to me, the bold move would have been to not have the SEC in. Because, oh my goodness. Travis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Travis.
Good morning, fella.
What's happening?
Listen, Jeff, love that accent. That accent was so good it made me want to pick up the phone and dial. It was good. You forgot to say lock of the century, right?
Lock of the century.
Lock of the millennium.
I got another one.
Can you imagine that those guys probably those guys are probably not even from New York, right? Like, look, Jeff, if you can put on the accent, some guy from South Dakota can do it too.
Travis, here's a bit of trivia. I was born in New York City. So a bit of trivia. It came with, when I was born, it was the air I breathed right there in French's Hospital. Right there.
That's why you're so talented.
Yeah. That's
so you can do the New York stuff.
I agree
you can claim California.
That's why you slide into it. So that's why you got the Bernie Sanders accent on lock.
Yeah, I'm bi-coastal. Yeah, that's right. What's up?
Look, I disagree with Jeffrey's call from earlier, and I completely agree with JJ. What Tomlin has been able to do this year, look, bold move, but I think he's front runner for Coach of the Year. Really? Like picking the best player on that Steelers team is like choosing the tallest player at short camp. But somehow they've managed to continue to win games. For me, it's actually less impressive when a super stacked team amasses a whole bunch of wins. Like in some ways, it feels like the head coaches on those teams are actually superfluous, right? Like the Eagles, the Dolphins, the 49ers, they have some of the best players at the skill position across the NFL. Like, they should win. The Steelers have Najee Harris and Kenny Pickett. Like, is this an NFL team or an apple orchard? I really don't know. But So I think it's really impressive what he's been able to do. And, and one final thing, turning to the Lobos, that was an exciting game. Big win, 56% from three-point range. They were absolutely cooking. And, House was on fire. I mean, every time he touched the ball, I was yelling, "Get the women and children out." Most impressive to me was how well they shared the ball, 24 assists. I think that is a big difference for this team and how they look. Last year's team, it looked like they only got most of their buckets through solo, like isolation ball. This year, they're sharing the ball, they're sharing the rock more, they're sharing the sugar.
Yeah.
And the second thing that impressed me was our defense. Like the Aggies tried to out-physical us, but I thought we played tough and physical right back. The level of physicality, intensity at that game felt like a conference game. I know this team is talented. I can see it, especially defensively, but I'll tell you the truth, based on the scheduling, I don't know how good this team is. I don't know what their ceiling is.
And we'll find
but
out
I know
in
that
conference.
January's second game is going to be pretty exciting against CSU. Have a good day, guys.
See you, Travis. We're going to find out in conference. Lobos look good, man. They won by 44 against a team, as JJ, as you said. Aggies aren't very good. They're trying to figure it out. They might be decent by the end of the season. They had to rebuild that whole thing, and you got to give Jason some time. But what the Lobos did without Mash, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without their best player. And by the way, the way House played makes it's easy to forget when he's not there how good and how instrumental he is.
Yeah, you can have a serious conversation of who is the best player on the Lobos, and it's a good conversation to have. And they're going to have to work some things out when Mash comes back in, because Mash has been kind of that player a lot. He's an ISO player, will take a lot of shots, and that's not going to work if he comes into this lineup with Jalen House and Donovan Dent. But I think with House and Dent playing at that level, it's going to get Mash a lot of easier looks. And when those guys were out of lineup, he was forcing some stuff, as you'd expect your best shooter that's left, or best scorer at that time, to see some things go up that you might not like. But that's what is so impressive about the Lobos when House and Dent on the floor. They play so fast, and the shooter, you always have to be ready. Because when they're driving, they're running off the pick and roll, like that ball's coming. They're going to hit the guy that's slipping the screen. They're going to find the guy on the perimeter, so you're going to get a ton of shots. And, man, Jalen House, he is a special player. Like that backcourt, to have Donovan Dent, 10 assists, no turnovers. True Washington coming off the bench.
I mean, a true freshman playing like that.
And we didn't think True was going to be a shooter. We thought, he'll play some defense, give his size, and with the smaller backcourt. And all of a sudden, the offensive presence he's bringing.
Yeah.
And you go out there, and yes, New Mexico State's not a good basketball team right now. But when you make it like that, those are the statements we're talking about. Is when you are that much better than someone,
be that much better.
Follow through on it. That's what the Lobos did.
Yeah. Are you responding both to the Lobo win over the Aggies and to the college football playoff stuff? I've got a lot of really interesting response from you and both sides of the arguments. Well, one argument anyway. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars.
Said that right there.
They could win a playoff game? Yeah. So you're telling me that they don't deserve to be in, and if they're another TCU, they win a playoff game, and then they'll be playing for a national championship.
So, yeah, to your point, so they'd be another TCU, so they'd win their semifinal?
Yeah. That's what TCU did.
They beat Michigan in the semifinal last year. Now, they got blown out in the championship game. It was, just so anticlimactic. That was a bummer. But they beat Michigan to get there. I get your point. Look, I understand the other side of this. I'm on the side that they got jobbed. That there's more than one piece to a football team than just the quarterback. That there's a whole lot there as a team, and they continue to win even after the quarterback went down. AC says, why even have a committee if you don't pick Florida State? Just have Ohio State, Michigan, the SEC champ, and a runner-up play every year, because that's what we get, and it's boring. If Alabama would have lost that game to Auburn, if they didn't complete that 4th and 31 Hail Mary, would we be having this conversation? No. We wouldn't, right? Florida State would be in, the SEC would be left out. So it's Hugh Freeze's fault for only rushing 3. It's Hugh Freeze's fault. Matthew, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, guys. Good morning. And I think you Freeze only rushed 2 on that. But if Auburn would have not let them complete that miracle, they wouldn't be there. But if Georgia would have taken care of business, Alabama wouldn't be there, and I don't think Texas would be there. Because if you have Alabama in, you have to have Texas in because they beat them in Alabama.
That's right.
Florida State, they're not one of the top 4 teams. I mean, what I don't want to see is, last year TCU sure deserved to go, but I sure as hell don't want to see that finals again.
Yeah, but what about the semifinal?
On television.
But they beat Michigan. Like, what about what they did in the semifinals? Doesn't that count?
Like I said, they deserved that. They deserved to be there.
Yeah.
They beat Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan played like crap that game also.
Okay.
But do they have a chance? Does Florida State have a chance to beat anybody has a chance to beat them? Look at New Mexico State and Auburn. But right now, Florida State is not one of the best 4 teams in the nation.
So with Florida State's defense,
hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah.
The crying about SEC bias. Well, the SEC has won 15 national titles in this century, and they have 5 of the top 13 teams. It's not a bias; it's a fact that if you leave out the SEC champion, and I don't think that because Georgia shouldn't also be there. They lost when they should have won, but complaining about it when if you really look at it without the SEC, you're not having the best 4 teams in the nation.
I will argue that Washington, Michigan, Texas beat Alabama, right? So does that mean Texas isn't as good as them? The SEC historic. I keep hearing last year doesn't matter, right? They kept telling me about Georgia, their 29-game winning streak doesn't matter, but it does. It's hard to ignore it, right? Do you think the SEC was the best conference this year? Because I don't. I think the Pac-12 was better top to bottom.
Really? How many top 15 teams does the Pac-12 have?
Because they beat each other up, right? Who beat Alabama and Georgia? Nobody beats them. You have the top 2 were really, really strong. And after that, where's the argument? Is it Auburn? Is it Mississippi Ole Miss? Is it LSU? They're good. They're really good, as is.
You don't think the SEC beats each other up? Ole Miss beat LSU.
Not at the top.
LSU beat Missouri.
But not at the very top. And that's the beauty of this. I'm not arguing that the SEC is not good, and historically they are. And because we say it all the time, it must be true. The SEC, just by birthright, is always the best. They have been historically the best. Yeah,
and they still are. Look at the rankings because the Pac-12 had a good year for the first time in decades.
Yeah, well, we're looking at 1 year.
Each other up.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But still, LSU beats Missouri. Ole Miss beats LSU. That's beating each other up.
Yeah,
when you're ranked in the top 10, and you stay in the top 15.
So you think
you start the year ranked high, and then you get your ass whipped, and then you're not in the top 25 anymore.
Yeah, and look, your argument's fair, and I think there's more than one thing that's right here. So do you think Florida State had no right to be in this, even though they're 13-0 beat 2 SEC teams, which you're telling me the SEC is so good, and they went on the road and beat 2 of them, but because the eyes say they're not that good.
I think the situation sucks.
Yeah, it does. We agree with that. We agree with that.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But was it still the right thing to do? Yes.
Fair enough.
Because if Georgia beats Alabama, Alabama's not there. I don't think Texas is there.
I agree with all of that.
But the thing is, and it's fun to talk about. This is fun for all of us to argue and complain, but next year, whoever's 13th and 14th, we're going to be complaining about that too.
Promise you, just like we do with 68 and 69 and 70 in basketball.
69,
Thanks, Matthew. Good call. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
it's not going to be as passionate, though. I'm not going to be crying if a 3 or 4 loss team's not in the playoffs at that point in time.
But we'll still have the conversation.
And that's what you're talking about, because right now, 12, 13, and 14, it's Oklahoma, LSU, Arizona. Yeah, you got a 10-2 team and 2 9-3 teams.
Yeah,
and Ole Miss at 10-2.
Yeah. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
Good morning. Hail to the victors valiant. That's the way you do it. Just settle it on the field. I'm trying to keep track of the Michigan game while I'm at the New Mexico State game. And about 5 minutes into the New Mexico State game, I said, there's just no way I can serve 2 masters. So I put the phone down, and that was quite the performance by UNM.
Look good.
I was nervous about that game, to be perfectly honest with you. But I don't know what got into the rest of the team, but I think it's Jalen House when he's out there is a huge difference maker. That guy. Have you seen a more exciting point guard since you've been here covering New Mexico?
I told you I think he's the most dynamic player they've had here in a decade and a half. I mean, maybe longer. Maybe not the best, the most dynamic.
I didn't say best. I said he's the straw that stirs that drink.
You agree with that?
And when he's on the court, he makes everybody better. And then Donovan Dent just went ahead and had a double-double. So, I think that's the way you beat your in-state rival. If you're going to beat them, massacre them. The second worst beatdown in the history of the series and the most points ever given up by an Aggie team to the Lobo team. So, order's restored. We can go back to life as normal.
All right, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad you got them both in. Have a great day. See you. Lobos win by 44. It was masterful. And they like, as you said, when you're better than someone, beat them like you're better than someone.
Yes.
Right? Have you seen a more dynamic player than House? Do you agree with me? I don't think he's the best player they've had around here, but
he is so exciting when he's on like that. 5 for 5 from 3 in the first half, and he wants to get his teammates involved. And Jalen House spoke with the media post game, and he said a lot of really interesting things. And one of the things that he said, and it's kind of unprompted, is he said he's a big wrestling fan. He loves wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that's where he gets a lot of his personality from. And I can see that, like kind of the showman and his flair. So I thought that was really interesting to see because a lot of people are kind of hit or miss on the way that Jalen House acts. But he's a showman. He brings energy. That's who he is. But then one of the things he added is he said the reason he's excited all the time is because his teammates are his best friends. And he wants to see his friends, succeed, be successful. And so when he's playing like that, he's scoring, he's assisting, and he was bouncing passes through his legs, behind the back. Like, that's a special play.
There's a lot to that. Anthony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good. How you living?
So, first of all, let's start with the playoffs with the NFC. Minnesota can't go, right? Because they're on the third-string quarterback, so they're not allowed into the playoffs. So they're out. So anybody who thinks Minnesota's going to make it, they're out.
So good.
I mean, of course Florida State got hosed. This is why Florida State's been spending the last 2 years trying to get out of the ACC because the SEC runs everything. And if anybody out there thinks that that Alabama's better than FSU, then Georgia should be in the playoffs too, right? Because if that's our philosophy, the best 4 teams, doesn't matter if they win a conference title or go undefeated, then Georgia should be in there because I'm pretty sure all of us believe Georgia's the best team in the country. Even though they just lost to Alabama, they're probably still the best team in the country. So under that philosophy, if that's what you're going with, then why isn't Georgia in the top 4? They're not in there because they didn't win it on the field. The same reason why Florida State should be in there because they did win it on the field. And everybody was saying the quarterback's the most important person on the field. That's probably true. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. But if that's the case and Florida State still went out there and beat a ranked team, then should they be in? Then they deserve it because without the best player on the field, they still went out there and proved it on the field. And if you're going by the eye test tells me that Alabama's a 2-loss team. They lost to Auburn. If you're going to do this what if and the quarterback's out and all these different things, they lost that game. The last second,
except for
they
won.
threw a pass, and they beat them. But yeah, but I can sit there and argue they lost that game.
Yeah, except for they won.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Florida State went undefeated, and nobody seems to care. Oh, but we're going to say that they're not as good, even though they didn't lose. And let's say Alabama lost, because that game is true. Nobody thinks they won that game. They won on paper. They won on things. Everybody still believes that Oregon was better than Washington, except for Washington went out there and won 2 games. But
twice.
Every expert would probably put Oregon again as the favorite against Washington. They played for a 3rd time.
Great call.
It's just crazy, man.
Great call.
It's crazy. And next year won't be the same because I think next year SEC is going to get 3 or 4 teams in and they're going to be happy. That's what this is all about. Get the SEC in. That's all it's about.
Thanks,
so
Anthony.
next year they'll have 3 or 4 teams in. Thanks, guys.
Great call. It's a great call. And my point is, and this is everybody who's telling me they're just not as good a team. I'm like, I don't know, man. So they were down to their 3rd-string quarterback and they still kept winning. I mean, tell me, so the team's all about the quarterback? Now, granted, their offense stumbled and they won in spite of their offense the other day. But their number 2 guy, who was a lot better, will be back for the postseason. And that team, that defense, like Jerry Kill said this morning, the New Mexico State coach, Florida State's defense is, in his words, unbelievable. You're going to tell me they play Michigan and it's I promise you it's not a rout. Now, Michigan might beat them. They're a hell of a lot better offensively than Iowa was, and they're better defensively than Iowa was. I think they give Michigan a game and maybe beat them. That's the argument.
How many FBS football teams are there?
133, I believe.
There's 132 teams that are better at offense than Iowa.
That's probably right. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. I'll wrap it up. Everything you got to know as we go through, what day is today? Monday? Through your Monday? It's and we're still available for you. Emails are coming in, Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
For years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Your Monday, Jacksonville, Cincinnati is your Monday Night Football game tonight. Now, it's not on, right? We got women's basketball tonight, correct?
Yes, we do.
So the NFL game is not on the Sports Animal tonight? All right, we got Lobo women's basketball. What do you got with women tonight?
Mississippi Valley State comes to town. This should be the kind of first get-right game.
Okay.
For the Lobos, because Mississippi Valley State is.
And was it the other day kind of one?
Which one?
The Aggie game? A little bit.
Well, the Aggies are a quality opponent. Like, they are not you should win this game by double digits, which
they
Mississippi Valley State comes in. They live their life on the road. They're that type of program.
Yeah.
Playing some of the top teams in the country.
All right. JJ will have that call. 6:30 is when you crack the mic from Albertsons Radio Row at the Pit, and a 7 o'clock tip at the University Arena, Lobos of Mississippi Valley State. Also, today there's a ton going on in the National Football League. Derrick Henry's in concussion protocol, so we will watch that. And the Chiefs are really unhappy about the no calls in their loss last night against Green Bay. Isleta New Mexico Bowl matchup is set. Fresno State will play New Mexico State. Both those head coaches were with us, and it's available wherever you get your podcast. Go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com, click on the opening drive. It's there, or just go where you get websites, or go where you get websites. Go where you get podcasts and put in opening drive. And it will be there for you. I thought Jerry Kill was really good. And then Tim Skipper, I was the interim head coach for Fresno State, who cut his coaching teeth in New Mexico at Western. I thought that was really good. So I think you'll enjoy those. 505-246-0610. Terry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Terry.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, quickly, Western have the ties there. My sister was a professor there 30 years. My brother-in-law played there at Western 40 years ago. My son was offered the D coordinator job 5 or 6 years ago, but he had another job offer that he took. So, yeah, props to Mr. Skipper and all that. Yeah, the small schools, you drive the bus, you do the laundry, a lot of stuff besides just coaching and all that. My son's got used to that at some of his places. My TV did survive all my throwing at it after the selection. To me, it's just a joke. I thought her members said you play to win the game, unless you're Florida State and you win the games, and it doesn't count. Maybe the Eagles need to get back their Super Bowl trophy. They won it with a backup quarterback, and so that shouldn't count. So you can make up any rules you want, but the one thing shouldn't ever hear again is all games matter, because obviously not. Alabama played very well against Georgia and played very poorly against Auburn and got lucky. But then they're saying, well, no, they beat this team, so that's all that matters. So, will I still watch? Of course, I'll still watch. But, it is sad for those kids and those players who did everything they were supposed to do, and a group of 13 clowns decided they didn't deserve it. And I think the Florida State coach, Norvell, kept it lower. I would have been more abusive in my email that I would have put out, and he tried to control himself a little bit. But that's life. Strength of schedule in basketball, Kansas, all them. If you get ranked high in basketball, so be it. You're taking 68 teams in football, and then you say by the end of the year, strength of schedule is that. Well, you start all the SEC teams higher.
That's right.
So even when they lose, it doesn't penalize them as much as other teams, and so
All right.
It is what it is. So from that standpoint, we'll move along. Props to you on your game. Good luck with the ball game. My son always wished they could have made it. So for all the people who think there's too many bowl games, to heck with you. Thank you for all your hard work and all that, and I hope the game goes great. My son will be headed to Phoenix where UNLV plays to you. So you're getting tickets for that.
Yeah,
but you guys have a great day. Take care.
I agree with everything except for when he said the 13 clowns. That committee had it tough. That committee had it really tough. And if you're an Alabama fan or leaning that way, then you could have said they were clowns too. Those are actually really qualified, good, smart football people who put a lot of time in it. So I would push back on 13 clowns in that room. But other than that, I think there's a lot in what he said.
It is interesting that the coaches in that room who been there, done that, know how hard it is to win football games, know the value of defense and special teams when it comes to playing, that they came out and were like, well, you don't have a quarterback, so you don't get to play.
It's crazy to me. And that's this is the same phone number on the text line that's been saying, they didn't get hosed, they lost their quarterback, they're out. He said, here's a good analogy. Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl contending team right now, right? If Dak Prescott got injured and could not play, would they be a Super Bowl contending team? ? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Yeah, but they wouldn't be eliminated because of that. They wouldn't say you can't play. And by the way, and to Terry's point, if that was the case, you'd have eliminated the Philadelphia Eagles when Carson Wentz got hurt a few years ago, and they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. There is a reason we play the games instead of we all sit here and think we know what would happen. How many times have we all sat around and thought we know what would happen and went, holy bleep? Right? Now, not a lot in college football. I'll give you that. In college football, there's not a lot of surprises at that level, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's an Auburn-New Mexico State game in November, but not in January. So I get both sides. And to that phone number, the 3537 number, like, I hear you. And to me, there's more than one thing that can be correct here. If you ask me straight up, do I think Alabama is better than Florida State? I would probably tell you I do. And I know you're going to say, well, that's the end of the argument. Cut and dry. And I hear you, but I don't agree with you. I don't think that's the end of the argument. A 13-0 Florida State team, I guess for me, I can't eliminate them simply because their quarterback went down. And they continued to win games with their quarterback, and they were 13-0 and beat two SEC teams. I hear the other side, and I actually really respect the other side of that argument. But it's hard for me just to say, yeah, no, never mind. You won all those games, but because you lost that one player, and continue to win, by the way, you're not worthy. And that's going to be the great debate on this one. Thank you to Jerry Kill, New Mexico State's head football coach, was with us today. Tim Skipper, Fresno State's interim head coach, was with us today. They're both available wherever you get your podcasts on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the sweet deal or on the opening drive icon, and it's all right there. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4. And then JJ's got Louisville women's basketball against Mississippi Valley State at 6:30. Adrian, great work on the TV side. DC, great job. Big day for you. Have a great call tonight.
Thank you.
Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.